What is up, people of YouTube? I'm your host Vernon. This is First Creek. Let's fish that. Alright, ladies and gents, the wife and I went for a road trip today. We went to Narcisse. If you're a bit squeamish about snakes or you're my mother, quickly look away for a few seconds. You can look back when you hear my voice again. These are some dens where the snakes all bunch together for some warmth during winter. And when spring arrives, you have this action with all the snakes, and they go out into the fields for summer, and then in fall they come back into the dens. But that is about an hour and a half north of Winnipeg, and for that reason we thought of making our way here to First Creek. This is where the First Creek runs into Lake Manitoba. We're fishing Lake Manitoba today. Now, unfortunately, until 10 May, you're not allowed to target walleye. It's a closed season for them, so we're not going to be fishing for walleye. Lake Manitoba is known for having lots of walleye, but we're going to try some different fish. Alright, so I'm choosing to fish near where our little creek or river runs in, thinking that this would be a place where new nutrients washes in, so there might be fish in this area. And I'm just going to throw out my carp setup out there. Alright, so my carp setup is using my catfish rod at the moment, and I have a reel on here with a bait runner. That's very important. We want the fish to grab it and be able to swim off with it. And I'm simply using a method feeder, and on that I have some pack bait. This is just some oats, jello and corn. I just make a little pack bait out of that and put it on my method feeder, and I have two hooks on here. Of course, they have to be barbless, but on one of them I'm going to be putting on some corn, hoping for maybe some carp. And on the second hook I'm putting on a piece of night crawler, just because we know that this pack bait will draw in other fish as well. We know there are sucker fish in here, maybe some white sucker, or maybe even something like a perch would go for the night crawler. So I'm going to get that out there, see if we have any action, anything willing to go for that. Now, of course, Lake Manitoba is known for having lots of walleye and not being that deep. It is rather big, flat and shallow. But that just means that the fish can be pretty much anywhere. That is why I'm thinking near where this creek runs in, that might be where there might be some fish out there. So we're just going to bomb that out there, leave it soaking in the water, wait and see if any fish finds it. Alright, so the wife has her rod out there as well. We just have some bait fish, some frozen bait fish, and a little piece of night crawler on there. Just got a hit. Don't know what yet. As soon as we get the fish in closer, we'll see what it is, whether we need to get the net.
Doesn't feel big. But...
looks to be a drum maybe. No, it is in fact a walleye.
Oh.
We're not targeting them specifically, but we're not going to take this fish out of the water. We're just going to get that hook out of him and release him. Just quickly want to get the pliers. So this is actually a nice sized walleye, but like I said, not targeting them. Just going to grab him, try and get the hook out. So by the time we upload this video, this would be legal catch, but it's not legal at the moment. So we're just going to get him back to the water. Nice size. fish. He's not been out of the water or anything. Just want to make sure this fish is okay, and he swims off by himself. And there he goes. That's the problem when using different baits. We're not specifically trying for walleye, but of course they will go for the baits as well. We have a little frog swimming there in the water. Maybe not a bad idea, throwing a little top water action. Alright, so first fish for the wife. Unfortunately, that does not count.
Yep.
Alright, so carp fishing can take lots of time. We have a baits out there. We'll leave them soaking. Hope to see if there's any fish in the area drawn in by the baits willing to go for them. But having the wife just had that little walleye, we were hoping to throw out baits and avoid those types of fish. So for that reason, we're only going to be throwing out some night crawlers, maybe closer to the reeds and stuff, rather than risking some spawning fish. We'd rather avoid catching them. But while looking at the rods, we've noticed that there's some small fish jumping in the area every once in a while, and lots of birds also diving in and catching them. And curiosity just got the better of me. I want to use my cast net, throw it out there, see if we can catch any of them, see what types of fish they are. They would of course be great to use as bait out there, but we're not going to be using them as bait. Again, it's closed season at the moment. So not throwing a cast net for quite a while. I'm rather bad at it. I need some practice. But the wife was laughing at me for doing so. So going to put her money where her mouth is, and she's going to make a throw. Not too bad. And this is why I bring the wife with me when I go fishing. When I have a bad day, at least she can get the fish.
A few minutes later.
So even though I've been seeing quite a small fish jumping, not getting any in the net, very hard to catch them. Also lots of rocks, and it's not that deep. But if you know what these tiny little fish that's jumping, what type of minnow, maybe some shiners or something, if you know what the main bait fish is for Lake Manitoba, please go down in the comments and tell me. Alright, ladies and gents, I thought I'd record an outro while we still have some light out there. Now, thus far, it hasn't been a successful fishing trip. We only got the one fish that wasn't a legal fish, so technically no fish out there today. But we are still going to be fishing right into the night, because of course we want to see if we can see the aurora borealis. For that we need nighttime. Other than that, it's been a really good and fun day. Of course, there's not a lot to put in the video, not constant action, but still had a pretty good time out there. As far as the carp fishing, of course, carp baits can soak in the water for a long time, and these fish can be anywhere. I do know that the marshes below Lake Manitoba actually has quite a lot of carp in them, but in a big lake like this, the fish can be anywhere. I thought of this little creek here, but to be honest, I don't know whether the first creek, whether that runs into Lake Manitoba or actually drains out of it. Either way, I think it's still a good place to find fish at a certain time of year. And on that note, please give me a little thumbs up to show your support for the channel. If you've not subscribed yet, consider doing so, joining my community. And if you have any questions about the baits I used or the rig I used out there, or any questions in general, go down in the comments. Feel free to ask anything. Alright guys, but that's going to bring an end to this video. I want to thank you for following along, and like always, see you next time.